Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving into a deeply poignant, honestly pretty emotionally charged story. We're going to explore the incredible tension of a forbidden office romance and ultimately a really powerful journey towards self-love. We'll be looking at the story of a woman named Emma, pulling directly from our source material to break down the psychology, the heartache, and the resolution of her whole experience. You know, if you've ever found yourself in a situation where your head and your heart are just completely at odds, you are going to find this analysis absolutely fascinating. Let's get right into it.
So, I want to kick things off with a pretty heavy question. Can you actually stop your heart? Because as we follow 32-year-old Emma's journey, we get a front row seat to exactly what happens when cold, hard logic clashes with unexpected emotion. Emma's someone who really prides herself on having this quiet, highly structured life. She works in a small office. She definitely doesn't seek out drama. But as we're going to see today, human emotions don't exactly check in with our logical plans before they just completely take over.
All right, starting with Section 1, A Quiet Life Disrupted. It is absolutely crucial to understand Emma's baseline here. She goes to work, does her job, heads home. It's a life of, a life of comfortable routine, totally free of chaos. But then enter the disruption. A 40-year-old man named Daniel, who arrives as her new boss. Our source material makes a point to note that Daniel is kind, he's friendly, he smiles a lot, and he speaks in this very soft voice. Now, at first, Emma just says hello and gets right back to her work. Standard stuff, right? But slowly, that quiet routine of hers is completely upended by this undeniable, growing attraction. He'll ask her simple things, like, "Are you okay today?" And she replies politely, but internally, her heart is beating fast. He remembers the little things she says. He makes her laugh. And honestly, before she even realizes what's happening, she finds herself thinking about him at night, literally unable to stop.
Which brings us right into Section 2, The Weight of Secret Love.
Okay, so everything completely shifts the second Emma notices a wedding ring on Daniel's finger. He's married. Just like that, her heart feels incredibly heavy. She tries telling herself the logical thing, right? You must forget him. But she didn't plan for this. And the truth is, she was already in love. This creates what is just an agonizing daily contrast for her. On the outside, her external reality looks perfectly normal. Daniel walks past her desk, smiles, says, "Good morning, Emma." She smiles back, says, "Good morning." But her internal reality? Oh, it's a completely different story. Inside, her loud heart is just screaming, "You love him." So she's trying to look perfectly fine while her internal world is just totally consumed by a secret she absolutely cannot share with anyone. So the real takeaway here is that her feelings aren't just some fleeting office crush anymore. This has evolved into what the source text explicitly describes as a secret love. And listen, a secret love isn't that joyful, uplifting emotion we see in the movies. It hurts. It is deeply isolating, painful, and completely silent. We see this play out perfectly when Daniel steps close to help her with her computer and their hands accidentally touch. He asks if she's okay, she smiles and says yes, but inside, the pain of this silent love is so intense, she literally just wants to cry. She knows he isn't free, but like she notes, she simply cannot stop her heart.
Now let's move on to Section 3, A Shattering Reality.
Seeking a little fresh air one Saturday, Emma goes out trying to clear her mind. You know the feeling, just trying to shake off heavy thoughts. She's sitting on a park bench, the sun is warm, kids are playing nearby. It's this brief moment of peace. But then, her realization hits, and it's almost in slow motion. First, her eyes are closed, and she catches that familiar soft voice. Daniel's voice. She opens her eyes, and there he is, just a few steps away. Second, she sees he isn't alone. There's a smiling woman standing right next to him. Third, a little boy and a little girl run up to them, laughing, and Daniel picks up the girl and kisses her head. And finally, moment 4. The devastating reality sets in. She is watching a picture-perfect family. In an instant, her view of Daniel shifts from the kind boss who makes her laugh to a husband and a father.
Man, we can deeply empathize with Emma's emptiness in this moment. She physically freezes, and it dawns on her, this is real. He belongs to them, not to me. Thankfully, he actually doesn't spot her. She turns her face away toward the trees, desperately trying to hold back tears. When his family finally leaves, she's just left feeling incredibly small and empty. She walks home slowly, and that night, no eating, no sleeping. She just lies in bed whispering to herself, begging her brain to please, please forget him. But of course, her heart totally refuses.
And the tension keeps building as we hit Section 4, The Late Night Confession. So, Monday morning rolls around, and Emma is just exhausted. She really doesn't want to go to work, but she's got no choice. When she gets there, Daniel notices she looks sad. He actually sits beside her and tells her she's a good person, that she's quiet but strong. And then he calls her special. That single word sends Emma into an absolute emotional tailspin. No one has ever called her that before. She cries in front of her mirror that night, and it's this messy mix of tears of happiness and profound sadness. After a wildly confusing week, the tension completely boils over when they find themselves working late, totally alone in the office. Daniel finally shatters the quiet distance between them. He admits, "I am married, but I like you. You make me feel alive." He's confessing his own reciprocal feelings while, at the exact same time, highlighting just how absolutely impossible their situation is. He can't stop thinking about her, but he won't hurt his family. For Emma, hearing this is beyond confusing. It fills her with this desperate hope. She really wants to believe he'll leave his family for her, but deep down, she knows it's just not right.
Despite being so full of hope and desperately wanting him to choose her, Emma makes what is frankly an incredibly strong, heartbreaking statement. She looks right at him and says, "Daniel, I like you too, but you have a family. I don't want to be the reason for pain." I mean, wow. It takes an immense amount of courage to look at the person you love, who just admitted they have feelings for you too, and put up a solid boundary to stop the affair before it truly even begins. Daniel just nods, telling her he understands.
Which brings us to the resolution in Section 5, choosing self-love.
After that intense late-night conversation, the room goes cold. A quiet, strictly professional distance is immediately put up at work. They stop talking about feelings altogether. And sitting alone one evening, really grappling with the sadness and the heavy secrets, Emma realizes she has to make a definitive choice about her future. If she ever wants to find happiness again, she has to make a deliberate, really difficult choice to enforce these crucial boundaries. She tells herself she must be strong and that she has to love herself first. And honestly, this next part is the hardest. She actively decides to stop hoping that Daniel will leave his family. She chooses to live her own life and find happiness completely without him. Now, this isn't some magic overnight fix. The source material notes she still thinks about him sometimes. And yeah, she still feels the heartbreak. But she starts to smile again. She starts to dream again. She ultimately proves that true strength often lies in recognizing exactly when you need to walk away from something that's only going to cause destruction.
Emma realizes that Daniel will probably always have a little piece of her heart, but she's finally free. She's ready for a new beginning. I want to leave you with this really profound takeaway from the text to reflect on. Love is not just about holding someone. Love is also about letting go. It is such a striking reminder that sometimes the most loving thing you can possibly do for others, and most importantly for yourself, is to just release your grip. So here's my question for you to chew on. When have you had to let go of something you deeply wanted, just so you could truly take care of yourself? Think about that for a bit. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will catch you next time.